Hey, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here with Do One Thing a Day That Scares Me. Today's is interesting. It is start by doing what's necessary, then do what's possible, and suddenly you are doing the impossible. So as I was trying to figure out, well, what the heck am I going to do today? A couple things came to mind. One, I'll share because I'm going to do it even though I've been putting it off and procrastinating and not wanting to do it. But I'll give a couple of examples of things that I know I've done in the past, something that I'll do starting today, and something that I'm just beginning to work on that most people would say is impossible. So, for example, start by doing what's necessary. Well, what's necessary is taking care of ourselves and having self-care. I've had several health challenges over the years, up to and including death, a sudden cardiac arrest, and that was the wake-up call for me to realize that I need to take care of myself. I can't just flim-flam through my life, run through my life and think that everything's going to be okay. I need to eat right. I need to take care of myself. And I need to pay attention to if I'm taking care of myself or not. So then by deciding I would take care of myself, then I have to do what's possible and what's necessary. So I decided, okay, well, I have to eat right. I have to exercise. I have to pay attention to how I'm treating myself and actually make time for myself. I mean, so many of us, especially business owners, do not make time for ourselves. We're busy running through our lives. And I think women in particular, I mean, we're not just employees or business owners, we're moms, we're wives or spouses, and that puts so many demands on us that it's really easy to push yourself off and not take care of yourself. I mean, when I said I didn't have any time to take care of myself, I wasn't lying to myself. I didn't have any time to go spend an hour or 2 hours a day exercising or going to a health club like I had when I was younger. I couldn't justify that use of time, which was a huge mistake, but you never know that until after the fact, right? And then it became possible because I started to take care of myself. I started to make time for myself to exercise every day. Again, it helped because my kids are older and they need less attention. They want as much attention, but they don't need me for as many things. And so it was easier to carve out some of that time and exercise. And then I decided and made a goal for myself that I would exercise every day. So a lot of people would say that's impossible. You can't possibly exercise every single day of your life. And I will say that since 2010, I have exercised up until this last May. I had exercised every single day since my sudden cardiac arrest in September of 2010. And I made it a priority. It was, if it's 11 o'clock at night and I hadn't exercised yet, I went down and I got on my exercise bike because I made a commitment to myself that I would exercise every day. And to me, my alternative was death. And so that's a pretty good motivator. At least it works for me. And then I had a flare and a health challenge in May that caused me to miss a couple of days in 2017. But otherwise, I am pretty dead nuts on that I'm going to exercise or do something every single day. My favorite is to go out for a walk in the park. I love to walk in nature because it not only helps my body, but it also helps my mind. And my mind is obviously running 100 miles an hour, and so it needs some peace and calm. So that's an example of self-care to doing something, eating and exercising, to doing something every day. And actually, the truth is, if you want to change your life, it has to become, and your health especially, it has to become lifestyle changes. It has to become a habit and natural and a part of your being. You can't just go on a short-term diet. Believe me, I tried for decades. Lose some weight and then you'll gain it all back. Exercise for a couple of months and then you stop doing it. Those things, you can do them, but they're going to only have short-term impacts. And sometimes they can actually negatively impact your health. So probably not the best solution. So as I'm thinking today, okay, about what am I going to do that scares me with respect to that? Obviously, I can't use the exercise thing because I know I'm going to do that. It's already a habit after, I'm well beyond the 21 days or the 90 days mark. So that's just a habit. I'm going to do that. So that's not really going to scare me or stretch me or have me bump out of my comfort zone. So I need to think about something else. I've got a couple things that I'm working on. One, I got divorced a few years ago and I need to get out of my house, and I still haven't gotten out of my house. And if you look around me, I have a lot of stuff and clutter. And so I know that that's not only cluttering me physically in my physical environment, but it's also cluttering my mind, because in the back of my mind is always, I need to deal with this stuff. I need to deal with these possessions, these physical things. I need to declutter, simplify, minimize, and then prepare to sell my house and move on to a different location, which is kind of exciting. I'm obviously procrastinating on it, but it's kind of exciting, so I need to get to it. So I thought, okay, so how do I start doing what's necessary? Well, I need to pick a place, pick a room, and start in that room. And then what can I do that's possible? Well, the next thing I can do is I can set aside time, just like I do with my self-care and exercise every day. It's not going to be an hour, but say I set aside, my daughter suggested 5 minutes, but I'm like, yeah, that's not really enough. But what if I set aside half an hour every day to work on separating out what I want to keep and the things that I think are just clutter and that I can go ahead and give away to charity because somebody else can benefit from them and I really don't need them. I'm not using them in my life anymore. My life's changing and I don't need these things anymore. So that's doing what's possible. And then third, pretty soon the impossible will show up in my life because it'll all be done. It'll all be organized. It'll all be decluttered. I will have separated and sold this house and moved on to a new environment. Now, I can't do that all today, but guess what? I can start by committing and doing my half an hour today. And so I will do that. I'm raising my hand. I will actually do that today. And I'll probably start in my bedroom because I've got a lot of stuff I can start sorting through and going through in there. And I've already got a huge pile for Goodwill set aside, so I can just keep adding to that pile. And the other example of this that I want to commit to and stand up and say, I'm going to do this is I'm dealing with chronic pain. There's a lot of chronic pain surrounding me and in my life and has been in my past. And I've had unique ways of dealing with that worked for me. And part of that was understanding the root cause of chronic pain in my life and where it came from. And what I'm discovering is the root cause of chronic pain for me is the same as it is for everybody else. But it's really hard to make that jump and make that leap to understanding and admitting to yourself that the root cause of your chronic pain is actually the root cause of your chronic pain. So starting by doing what's necessary is number one, understanding what is the root cause of my own chronic pain. And then the next step of that is then do what's possible. I'm going to help other people, the people in my life and around me, and a few key individuals to understand what the root cause of their chronic pain is and help them through the process of understanding what the root cause of their chronic pain is, because pain is a signal to us that something is wrong. And if we don't get to that root cause and eliminate it and fix what's wrong, we're going to continue to experience pain in our lives. And the pharmaceutical industry and doctors and legislators are getting involved in this and really effing people up with trying to control substances that are used to help with the symptoms of chronic pain. And don't get me wrong, a lot of people need, as part of their healing process, to be on different medications or different therapies or different strategies. And each of us are unique, so what works for me won't work for someone else. And what my kids need to help them through their issues with chronic pain is very different than what I've had to do to deal with my chronic pain. And each of us need to figure out what that is and then work through that for ourselves. And then the third step of that is, and what I'm committing to is, I'm going to help 1 million people out of the 1.5 billion people that currently suffer from chronic pain in this world. There's 100 million people in the United States. That's just about 1 in 3. So almost a third of the people in this country suffer from chronic pain, and it is definitely messing with and destroying those people's quality of life and their life experience. And so I am committing that I will, and that sounds impossible to me as I'm saying this, and suddenly you're doing the impossible. When I say I'm going to help 1 million people to figure out and eliminate chronic pain in their life, to me even that sounds impossible. But I know that by committing to it as part of this do something that scares me, I will find a way to work with a group of people and we will make that happen. So that's it for today. My do one thing that scares me, and I actually shared 3 examples with you. So go out today and pick one thing that stretches your comfort zone, that makes you reach to be more, to do more, to have more, but it makes you stretch and grow and feel a little bit uncomfortable and be a little scared. And, comment below. Share with me what you're going to do. I've just shared 3 things that I'm doing with you, and I would love to hear how you're doing things to make your life experience more fun, more exciting, more challenging by doing something that scares you. Because really, the flip side of fear is excitement. And so I'm deciding that I'm going for the exciting part and burying the fear part of that two sides of one coin. Talk to you tomorrow with what's going to scare me tomorrow. I don't know what it's going to be because I got to go work on what it is for today. Bye.